Question mark?
4.
It's 4? Oh,
It's
yeah.
4.
See, I can't even remember. Episode 4 of the Dear to Dear podcast. Whatever our slogan was last week. I don't remember.
Sure, where we talk about stuff.
Yes, it's a show where we talk about stuff. Be it furry stuff, or Second Life stuff, or love stuff, or sex stuff. Just stuff. Mostly love and sex stuff.
Yes.
So, guess what, Sale?
What?
We got our first question.
Yay!
Yay, questions. So, do you want to read it, or should I?
You go ahead and read it.
Okay. I feel like I did something wrong. I stayed up talking with a friend of mine last night until the sun came up. I get flirty when I'm tired and things were said, and now I feel so happy when I talk to them. I've not been this happy in so long. We ended up falling asleep on Skype together. I felt so warm, and so didn't they. I started out just us talking and trying to make one another feel better about stuff. I'm horribly confused. I need to get my life together. That's it.
Alrighty.
So, what are your thoughts, Sir Logical?
Sir Logical. Alright. Well, I would say, given the information that we do know, I mean, I'll go ahead and preface this first. We do know the person that asked this question, but because of the show, we're going to go ahead and remain anonymous for this person.
Yes.
So we know a little bit more than the situation that she presented allows, but we're going to go ahead and keep it in the context of the situation here.
Yeah.
So I would say that with this situation, if it's happiness that you seek, if it's happiness that has, brought you two together and that you guys are talking and, and you mutually feel exclusive to the same way that you do about each other, I would say might as well just go ahead and, spend more time with that person. It doesn't even have to be a relationship. It could just be friendship. Speaking with them on a more regular basis, just having fun talking. And if it's a way to create happiness and escape from the down and dredge of life, which everyone gets into a slump at some point. It's going to happen. Mm-hmm. But, if you want to, I would say go ahead and, by all means, spend more time with that person. And hey, if it results into a relationship, then, I guess that's even more the better. Two happy people being together, that can't go wrong, in my opinion.
That's true. And I think a thing like that a lot of people actually fear when it comes to things like accidentally dating a friend is like that you might lose the friend if something were to happen in the relationship. But usually that doesn't, I don't want to say usually that doesn't happen, because usually it does. It's sad, but it's the truth. But yeah. If things are done right, it will most likely not happen, mostly because you guys took the precautions of discussing things beforehand, which is something that everybody must do.
Because I actually kind of want to bounce off that point. Just quick interjection. And a good example is I have grandparents who, well, they're my grandma's. It's my grandma's sister who is married to, her husband. They've been married for, I think it's like 75 years now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, and like I look at the people like that, and it's a relationship that shows that, if you're happy, if you know how to take care of one another, if you understand each other's faults and shortcomings, and you can, and one another can pick up for those, I think it, in that situation, it works out really well.
Yes, I would agree very much so with that. Like, my thought went away.
Oh no.
It flew away. That happens to me a lot, I've noticed.
Just the random thought.
Yeah, the random thought decides that it's not important, so it leaves. But basically, like what Sale said before, if what you want is to be happy, then go be happy. It doesn't have to necessarily be in a romantic relationship. Just being happy with a really good friendship is more than enough. And even friends can be flirty from time to time, It's allowed. But if you don't want it to become a romantic relationship, you have to tell them right away and not, lead them on. because that's just mean.
Yeah, boundaries are a good thing to establish when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, with every wall that can be built, every wall can be broken down as well.
Mhm.
It just depends on how you want to word it and how you want to go about it.
Yeah. You can always say if something were to happen or we were to decide to do this, then we will burn that bridge later on. Pretty
Well,
much.
and, I feel like this also kind of provides into the fact of, like let's say on the flip side, someone is in a relationship and they're not happy. It's definitely something that needs to be discussed. In my opinion, communication is the biggest thing in a relationship. If you aren't at least communicating and at least voicing your opinions, then it's a breakdown, a communication breakdown, and that in itself can lead to just all sorts of trouble.
Yes, I would agree. It's very important to have good communication. Like, if you have a feeling, you don't always have to say it right away. You can say it later when the feeling is less raw. Like, I've heard, like, if you get in a fight and the fight stops but you're still angry about it, you wait about like 6 hours and then you tell them that you were still angry about it. Like, you say, you know what, after the fight, I felt angry for a while because this. Or because you said this. And that starts a discussion that is no longer fueled by the anger of the fight. It's an actual discussion.
And it really takes two adults to rise to the occasion to
Yeah.
discuss it peacefully. Now, that's the
Yeah.
other thing. It's like everyone can fall back into to being defensive. It's a human
Yeah.
trait. It's a trait that it can be flawed or it can be very valuable. And if you bring something like that up, and if it's a person talking with another person, and you're very both adult-like about it, you can have that civil conversation. But if it's you're trying to bring it up to someone who just flat out doesn't want to hear it, it can be troublesome, and it can incite even more. So it's reading your situation, reading what's comfortable to take, looking at your options and looking at the doors that are open, and the ones that you might want to remain locked.
Yeah. You really have to pick and choose your battles, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, there are times when it's just not worth it. Like every time we talk about this, we're gonna fight. Like with my ex-best friend, she's an ex-best friend for a reason. That'll probably be a topic for another day. But there was a topic that I would never talk or bring up, and it was stupid, but she would always fight about it. It was whether or not Belle was a princess.
What?
Exactly. Like, she
Why?
believed 100% that Belle was not a princess. That she should not be a Disney princess. And I'm like, but at the end of the movie, they're married.
It happened. It's a happy ending.
And so it's like, she would always fight about it. Always, always, always. And it's just like, ugh. I was just like, nah.
I mean, if you're at a Disney park, then I guess it's relatable.
Yeah.
But
It was just that thing that, like, sometimes
it's
there
no
are just
Disney
things
World.
you never bring up,
It's no Disney World.
Yeah. Yeah. It was weird. But that happens. It happens.
I've had quite a few ex-best friends, and I would say probably the one that's probably the most impactful to me was at one point I had a really, really good friend. Like, no matter how bad her singing was, I always encouraged her to keep on going because, like I thought that, that's a nice thing to do. You encourage them to keep on going, and you tell them that, you give them constructive criticism. I mean, you say, hey, I think if you tried out this, you could improve, in such and such way. And it was kind of that cool relationship in a sense of where it's like she would help me, I would help her. But then one day she randomly went to the school SRO officer and was like saying, "Oh my God, I like, like just all this horrible shit happened." Like, it was like, God damn, how many times can I say like in one sentence? I think it's a new record. Anyways, it was like, Sale rate me this and that. She didn't say Sale, but because it's a podcast, I'm going to say my own name. But it's like, Sale rate me this and that. And because I had, because I'm an internet freak, I actually had time logs and chat logs of when I was talking to people on my computer, so I could physically show that I was at my house on my computer the day and the time she said it happened. So luckily, all the things that were against me were dropped just because of that. But like, it came out of nowhere, and I think it's because she was jealous of the girl I was dating at the time and wanted me to break up with her. But it was like, you don't even go around doing that. It's like, if
Yeah.
you, like, in that situation, it's like, if the person doesn't like it, you can just tell them. It's an opinion. It's, it might be a very heavily biased opinion, because of the stance that you have and the stance that they have, but it's still an opinion nonetheless. You don't go around, destroying a bridge that you don't need to. But then again, some bridges do need to be destroyed, and no matter how many times you think over it and how many times you try to lessen the blow to that bridge, it could still fall through.
Yeah.
Which is something I think all of us are experiencing at the moment. But
yeah, sadly. So I think we answered that and a little more.
yeah.
Yeah, basically, be happy if you want to be happy. And
Aha.
period. So let's find some more questions. I have the app open, and let's look at adult relationship, because last time we did teens.
Yes.
So we'll do adults.
It was parent and teen.
Mm-hmm.
It was then teen health, and I think it was just 2 parent teens and 1 teen health. I think we did.
Train is coming. Hold on. I can hear it.
You can hear the train.
I can hear. Oh, I can see it. Also, I looked at it.
For those of you that don't know, Cherry has a train that runs close enough.
It's right across the street.
Again, close enough.
I'm just waiting for it to decide to whistle, but it doesn't seem to. Must be a lot. Yeah, it's like, nah, that's nice. Okay, what a nice engineer. But
not to wake up all the residents.
It has been passing by so much today.
Yeah, I've been hearing it all day long, actually.
Yep, the whole time we've been voice chatting, it's been going off in the background.
For what, like 7 hours and 49 minutes? Oh my god. These Skype calls, they last a long time.
We might have a problem. Okay. Okay, need advice. Judgment free. That's what it says. Open. There we go. Okay, I will make this as short as possible. I have been in a relationship for 10 years. Not married. We have 2 kids. I have been faithful until recently, although I feel neglected, unloved, and unappreciated. I am mistreated in every way except physical. Anyway, so this other guy that I've been talking for a little over 2 months, and about 3 weeks ago we met up, and and again tonight. I really don't feel guilty because this guy makes me feel happy, and I miss being happy. He wants to be with me and accepts that I have kids. My problem is I don't know how to break up with my boyfriend because I'm scared, I guess. He is bipolar and can get really mean. Plus, I don't want to hurt my kids. I would never keep them away from their father, but he thinks I would. I don't know. I'm just really torn on what to do. Please help.
Ooh, that's a big topic. That's a tough topic.
But you know what's weird? It's not so different from the one that we kind of answered.
Yeah, I was noticing the similarity.
Yeah.
I mean, the only difference that I would say is really just know your environment. If you know that your boyfriend is bipolar, and you know what can ensue, I mean, you have to look at it. You have a legal side because you do have children. Theoretically, even though you aren't married, it's still who would get custody. Mm-hmm. Because that is still because it is 2 parents that have lived together that know each other, and then it's like, well, who gets custody of who? And depending on what happens, I mean, usually the battle is always won by the girl because of the maternal instinct is favored when it comes to raising children, but still it's a battle that you want to be prepared to fight, and as well be prepared to lessen the blow to that bridge that you might want to burn. And again, it's gonna sound horrible to say burn a bridge, but that's literally what you're doing.
Yeah.
No matter how you're gonna look at it, no matter how you're gonna phrase it, it's still gonna crumble beneath you, and all you can hope is that there's water below to catch you.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, the good thing is that the other guy is seeming to want to be with her, so that's a plus. That's a big
And
plus.
doesn't mind the fact that she has kids either, which is also probably a big determining factor in that.
Yeah. But it's gonna be like it is going to be difficult, and it's going to be very difficult on your kids. So you're going to have to think about that like really hard. Like what was it? Like you're going to have to think about taking them to therapists eventually, because all kids need that when their parents either split up or get divorced or something. Like it's always a necessary thing, because kids' growing minds, they be like moldable. That's not the word, but you know what I mean. They get traumatized easily, and it's like you really have to think about what it is that you're planning on doing, because there are going to be a lot of emotions. You don't feel guilty right now about having the affair because you feel unwanted and all the things, but when you're doing the separating process, you're going to be remembering all the times when, all the happy times, all the good times and all the things, and you're going to be thinking about your kids, and emotions will get in and stuff, but you have to remember that you don't want to get too emotional if you really want to get this done. If you really 100% want to leave him and go with the other guy, you just have to be like, I'm doing it. I'm going to do it, because you're going to have a lot of regrets, and you're going to want to take steps back a lot, because emotions. You have to keep your emotions in check when this is happening, because you have kids, and the emotions that you show are going to affect them.
Very true. Very true. And, each kid will take it differently. Some kids will act out with violence. Some kids will just be sad. Some kids might not even seem like it affects them. Some kids might even be glad it happened. But, it all depends on your kids, in the relationships you build with them. So.
Yeah. You have to think about what you're going to do about the kids more than anything, because you already know their father. You've been with him for 10 years. You know how he's going to react. You know that he's going to be, more than likely he's going to be aggressive about it. So basically, you have to go through it like, you have to stand your ground. You have to be 100% saying, you make me feel like this, you do this, and I'm leaving.
Yeah. The only thing that, in my opinion, kind of pushes it over is the fact that it's abuse.
Mm-hmm.
I personally have been in abusive relationships before. Never physically, but mentally to a lot of extremes.
Yeah.
And to share one of my own stories, I was in a relationship one time. It was an online girlfriend, but, I knew her decently well. At least I thought I did.
Mm-hmm.
We traded, pictures, so she knew what I looked like. I know what she looked like, or at least I thought I did. And then one day I went ahead and I FaceTimed her on my iPhone, because at the time I had an iPhone. And she picked up, and she looked nothing like she did in the picture. And then she came up with an excuse, or at least what I thought was an excuse. It might not have been, but she was in a horrible car wreck, and because of the car wreck, she got gluttonous and started eating a lot to cope with it. And it's like I can understand that actually happening, but if you're going into a relationship, it's kind of like, why would you lie? It's not a good thing to lie right off the bat if you want to have a trustful relationship.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, she was constantly suicidal. And it wasn't less the fact that she was like verbally abusing me, it's the mental toll that it takes, which in my opinion, if a relationship takes a lot of mental toll on you, it's an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
And like, I voiced my own opinions, but she just rebutted with, oh, well then I might as well go kill myself and this and that.
Oh, I hate that.
And it just, and that's what I'm saying though, it got to that point, and so I kind of can understand what this person is saying, right? It's a relationship where it's mentally abusive, not physically abusive, but being mentally abused, in my opinion, can be, and most often will be, more abusive than physical abuse at times. Just because physical scars, while they can heal, while they will hurt at the time, it's something that you can physically run away from. It's something that you can actually physically detach yourself from. With mental abuse, if it happens, it's gonna stay there. And no matter how small it is, as to where, like, and again, another girlfriend, my mom and I took her on a Disneyland field, basically vacation, all paid for by my mom. 2 weeks later, she's off smitten with her best friend, and it's like, no, we don't do that to someone who just spent 3-4 grand on you, as basically like a 1-year anniversary present, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a mental toll that will never get out of my mind. I still hate what she did to me because of that single day.
Yeah, I understand. I would too, actually.
Yeah, so I can kind of understand what this person is saying, that if it's mentally abusive, it's definitely going to have a scar. Like, there's no getting around it. It's definitely going to have a scar, so.
Yeah. It's really... Yeah, some people suck. There's like nothing else you could say. Some people suck. Because I'm sure like everybody has that story of that person that you did so much for and they were just an asshole at the end. So it's like you can't hang on to people like that, even if they're like important in your life. Sometimes you just gotta let the chains go, because it just gets too heavy. You can't carry all of your own pain and their pain as well. You just can't.
Yeah.
It's too much for one person to be carrying that much.
Yeah. Well, I do believe we have another question, and it's actually...
Another question?
Yes, another question.
For
those of us that don't know, we are actively on SL while we do this podcast. In case any questions come in during our podcast, and if we get the time, we can always answer them. And the perfect example is we had someone just ask us a question as we're doing the podcast, and the question is, I don't know how to ask this, in all honesty, but my name is... I'm going to go ahead and blank the name out.
You can put a random name. We'll call him Sparky.
Alright, but my name is Sparky, and he says, I'm dating a guy named, Joe, let's just say, right?
I was going to say Cinnamon.
Cinnamon? Alright, well, Cinnamon then. Dating a guy named Cinnamon. He's skinny, tall, and good-looking, while I'm obviously the opposite. I'm overweight and unattractive. I don't know how I feel about going out in public with him. He gets dirty looks, and I get looks of disgust. I think everyone is judging him for being with me, and I feel really bad. I feel like another guy come and just take him away at any time. A little bit of a grammar error there, but I think we worked through it. I don't know what to do because I don't want to lose him. So that's very, very sad.
Yes.
Why don't you answer this one?
Okay.
Why don't you start with this one?
Like, I've heard this so much. I've heard it a lot. But basically, like he's tall and he's handsome and I'm short and I'm ugly. It's like you're obviously not as ugly as you think you are if you got this awesome, giant, tall, handsome god that is just worshipping your everything, because I bet you he does. At least to some degree. Because it's like it doesn't matter what other people say about you guys. Like, they can throw their dirty looks, they can give you the evil eye, but it's not important because you guys know exactly what it is that you have together. Like, you know that he's going to be there for you all the time, and he knows that you're going to be there. Like, if the relationship is solid, and you should know if it is solid, even if you have to ask him if it is solid, he will know if it is solid. More than likely it is quite solid, because it's like I'm going to be repeating again, it doesn't matter what other people think, because other people can have their own opinions, but I have seen the ugliest people with the most handsome people, and it's like, okay. It's like, it's not for me to judge, because, I don't know, maybe they just have something that other person desires in a romantic partner. Like, maybe they're really, really good at blowjobs. I don't know.
Is it sad that we thought the exact same thing there? That's sad.
Or yeah, I know. Or maybe they're like amazingly good conversation, or maybe they agree that burgers are the best, or they both have the same desire for food, they love the same movies. Like, maybe the handsome person finally found the person that they can share their weird kink or their weird hobbies with, and
Other
they're not
nerdiness
judged.
with.
So it's like, like, other people can say whatever the hell they want because they have no idea what's going on behind your closed doors.
Yeah. And actually, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this: as our world progresses, as it is 2016, and the generation that has been brought up, I want to say 40 at the maximum, but mostly lower than that, are all very accepting of not only the LGBT community, mostly just the gay and lesbians are the really ones that people are really starting to get okay with.
Mm-hmm.
Transgenders and people with other associations in their gender are taking a bit of time because people don't know them as well. And that's the exact thing, is people are afraid of what they don't know. And if they see you with this handsome guy and you're over here and you absolutely love this dude that you're with and he loves you back, like, that's the connection you have with them. Again, as Cherry said, and I'll reiterate here, people can throw what they want to at you, but if you two are strong together, both of you can pull each other up and say, this is our relationship, this is our world to take, and we're gonna fucking ride it on a unicorn with, rainbow shooting out its butt. We're gonna do this,
I want that. The unicorn with a rainbow shining out its butt.
Well,
Yes,
and I mean,
magnificent.
well, and that's what I'm saying, right? Like it's so unproportional for people to be so one-minded, but
Mm-hmm.
people have opinions, and you're gonna have people that are definitely on one side of the fence or definitely on the other side of the fence, and then you're gonna have a lot of people in the gray area, and you can see that all over society. You'll have the fanatics and you'll have the radicals, but then you have the general average Joe, which is dead center, and he's just looking at which side is the lesser of two evils.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just kind of how society is. It's what it is. But if he sees something in you and he said yes, if you asked him and he said yes to be with you, it's either because, for one, you're fulfilling something in his life, a void in his life, which is the number one main thing. And I can guarantee you that you're doing that in some way, shape, or form, that you are fulfilling a void in that person's life. Number two, they may just love how you are around them. They may just absolutely love your company. Love to be around you and love to show their affection for you, which ties in with number one. You're filling a void in their life that they didn't have before, or that they've lost a long time ago and that they've regained, and they absolutely love that feeling. Like, I know for me, in my own personal relationship right now, my girlfriend is filling a void in my life that I had empty for a long time because I chose to keep it empty because of what happened to me. But when I got into this relationship, I'm happy as hell, and I wouldn't have it in any other way. And that's just because it's filling a void in my life. It's filling a way for me to express myself. It's filling a way for me to show my compassion for this one person.
Yay.
So.
Yeah, but basically, yeah, all of that. And about the people who are judging, just remember, some people suck. That might just end up being our tagline. Some people suck. Because some people do. And there's usually nothing you can do about it. Like, if these people are always looking at you, giving you dirty looks, you know what? Go other places. Like, you don't have to go into that snooty coffee shop. You can go to, I don't know, the game center, that was the arcade. You can go to pizza parlor. You can go anywhere because you two are together and you can do whatever you want. And it doesn't matter what other people think because you're happy and that's what's important. And if
Yeah.
you do have that fear that maybe someone will come along and swoop him away, then you know what? You gotta make it so that nobody can come along and swoop him away because you're just that important to him.
Yeah.
Be the thing that he loves the most, and he's not going anywhere. Or be like me and just feed him lots and lots and lots of really good food. He's not going nowhere.
In tortillas.
Hi, I love you.
As she turns to her husband.
I mean, he's looking at me mean.
As she turns to her husband.
He gave me the look of, what are you saying about me?
I think we have one more question that again was asked during our podcast, so we should probably answer before going on to some SL's tips and all that good stuff. And I'll go ahead and take a stab at it after reading it first, just because I have a lot of experience when it comes to this because of past relationships. But I'll go ahead and read it off the question. It says, so I'm wondering what to do to get over emotional trauma, basically, from being abused, being hurt, and hurt before in the past. I'm scared of almost everything. I even break down and cry if someone raises their voice at me. I know there's someone to get over being afraid of everyone and being afraid to be with someone who makes me happy. But I honestly don't know what to do to make this stop. I want to be happy and not be afraid anymore of stupid stuff. From what has happened in my past, what do I do? So, when I was in a previous relationship, actually the relationship that I was in before this one, the person, I'm going to be very, very vague about this because I don't want most of this to come up and surface again. But the person that I was with was living in Russia when she was raped at 5 years old. And basically she protected her sister by telling her sister just to get out of the way. Her mom basically let these two big guys rape her. And you can imagine for a 5-year-old kid, that's going to leave PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, for those of you that don't know. And the thing that people don't realize is that if you've been emotionally beaten, abused, stuff like that, if you've had so much happen to you, you can get PTSD, even if you weren't on the war zone and stuff like that. If surveys were taken and people in the general populace, a staggering majority of people actually have PTSD. So my best advice is you yourself find something that makes you happy, whether it be arts and crafts, talking with your favorite person, being with your loved one. Anything that can make you happy, make that person your rock. Make them so that way if you have a tidal wave of just shit that's headed to you, you can go to them or go to that specific thing and hold on for dear life, and you know that you're not going to fly away. You basically build handlebars and you build like a cage to wrap yourself into it, and you know that you're not going to fly away, and you know that rock's going to protect you. That's what I did for my past girlfriend, and it worked until she just got way too overloaded with a bunch of different stuff. And I mean, she's still an amazing person. I still talk with her, but because of just what happened in our relationship, it's an awkward talking back to her. But I mean, what I'm trying to get at here is that if you're in a relationship, or if you know you love to do something, you basically make that your escape. And while it's a short-term fix to a long-term problem, it can be multiple times of doing this, or just one consistent thing can be a long-term fix for a long-term problem. Because yeah, you might have scars on your skin. You might have just so much mental abuse in your brain in terms of just what has happened to you, and you might be scared of stuff, and you might be scared to get into a relationship or stay in a relationship for too long. But if you find a person and you know that they love you, and they can show that they love you, and they show you that they aren't going to be dishonest with you, if they show you that they actually care about you and care about for your feelings, then in my opinion, that's a person to center your life on, to say, this person I trust, and I want to make this person or this object or whatever you find to be your rock. And that's really the only advice I can give, because everyone handles it differently. And that's the truth, is everyone's going to handle it differently. But that's just a general advice I can give. Is just find some place to shelter yourself when the shit hits the fan, when the tidal wave comes and crashes down. That person, that hobby, that thing that you enjoy to do is always going to be there for you. So you can always just retreat from the world for whatever time you need to, and just feel safe and feel comfortable and feel like you're in a place of zen, in a place of being comfortable, in a place of just you can clear your mind and not really think about too much and just relax.
I'm nodding. I don't know why I'm nodding, but yeah. Yeah, I would agree with like pretty much all of that. Finding the thing that distracts you and makes you happy is probably one of the best ways to not get over something, but at least put it to the side and like put it on the back burner, as one would say. Like I can tell you what not to do, which is what I did, because I had things happen to me when I was younger, and it's like what you don't want to do is create another personality to deal with your problems, because that does not help. You just end up with voices in your head that tell you to do stuff. Like I've been dealing with that ever since I was really young, and it started out with just one, and now I have like 3.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So because once you shatter yourself once, the smaller pieces are just easier and easier to break. So if you don't actually deal with your problems, which is what I have been starting to do basically the past 3 years, all by myself because I can't afford a therapist, which sometimes I would really like to, but it's like money and stuff.
Yeah.
But I really, really, really want to do it on my own because I want to feel that, like, accomplishment. And yeah, things have been, like, slowly, what's the word? When things get smaller or start going away?
Slowly receding?
Yeah, they've been slowly receding, like, very slowly. Like, probably last year, I couldn't even feel the difference. But, like, now I do. I notice it now. Like, I'm starting to notice that I don't react the same way that I used to. Like, I also was one of those people that someone just speaks to me strongly and I start crying. But I don't really do that as much as I used to. Like, hold on. Assholes.
Motorcycles?
I don't know. I'm not, it's probably. Like.
Speaking of reacting.
Yeah, but it's like, what was he saying? That I don't react the same anymore. Like, yeah. I used to cry all the time, but now it's like, I really have to get really upset to start to cry. Like, the only time I start crying now is after things have piled up over, like, a month. And then I'll just lie down and cry. The dog will come over, she'll lick my face. And then I'll get up, like, a half an hour later and be like, okay, I think it's all gone.
Yeah. And you know, I have to say, at least from what I've noticed, is that drawing is an escape for you.
Yeah, like, I usually do use it that way. Not as much anymore, because now I think of it as a job, so Second Life has been starting to become that fun outlet for me since I started using it again.
Yes.
It's like, yay, people, look, I can do things. I mean, look, we have so much.
I know.
I have a houseboat. I have a unicorn.
You do have a unicorn. Oh my gosh.
I can be whoever I want to be. Like the voices in my head kind of want their own avatars, but I'm like, no, I have to buy those, and I don't want to. I already made you fursonas. Be happy with that. So it's like, So it's like, I'm not 100% sure if they will ever go away, but part of me kind of wishes that they don't. Like, having DID, dissociative identity disorder. Wow, I almost didn't say that. It almost didn't come out. Blech. Dissociative identity disorder. Or split personality syndrome, whatever you want to call it. It's like having it is both a curse and a blessing, because there's always someone there. Someone who has known me for a really long time and will more than likely never, like, leave. Like, we can disagree because we are, in fact, different personalities. And it's like, Like, there are times when they do take over and I don't completely black out, but I won't 100% remember how I got from one place to another.
I remember that.
Yeah,
the time
like
that you just like.
when I put on my shoes.
What did I put on my shoes?
Yeah, it's like, huh. And it's weird because there are times when I can watch something happen, but I don't remember that it happened.
Yeah.
Like, in the back of my mind, I kind of got it, but I didn't. It's really weird. This mental trauma is... the brain is weird.
Yes.
And it's like... it's just something I have to learn. I learned to live with when I finally, like, accepted the fact that this was going to be my life now. So, like, one of the things that you have to really do is deal with your problems and not do what I did and try to hide from it for so long. Because I tried hiding from all the problems that I had, and it wasn't until I actually started dealing with it that it started to get better. So until you're like, you know what? I'm not going to be afraid of new people. That stranger over there, I'm not talking to him because he's ugly, but I'm going to talk to the cashier and tell them that and actually say something to them today. That's what I'm doing. Or I'm going to pick up the phone and call and order the pizza myself. Or something like that. Because I can still barely talk on the phone.
No.
I'm afraid to talk on the phone. But my husband forced me to order chicken earlier today, so it was like... So I had to do it. He wasn't going to do it, so I did it. And afterwards I was like, I did it. I did it. Yeah. I ordered the chicken.
I ordered that chicken. It's mine now.
Yes. And then 45 minutes later, chicken. It's baby steps, in all honesty. Like, you can try to take big steps, and don't be disappointed if you fall down. Like, baby steps make it easier, but you can take a leap if you really try.
You make a mountain out of pebbles.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, to just kind of go back to the main subject, I mean, with all that we've said, it really is just find something to help you escape, and then when you yourself feel ready, start to tackle these things, because while escaping to something, again, it's a temporary fix. Escaping to it, getting your mind clear, and then being able to say, I'm not going to be afraid. You really have to say that to yourself. You can't think it, like, if it's going to help you, and I recommend doing this, because as a person who's a figure skater who did figure skating for 8 years, I had to go out every competition and say, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best. And no matter how horribly I placed, by the way, I placed last every single time except for my final performance, I felt like I did amazing. I felt like I went out there and gave the best performance of my life. Because I was fulfilling something within myself. I was not fulfilling it for others.
Yes.
And I, again, my personal opinion, even if you want to, hush it under your breath, or scream it at the top of a mountain if you want to. Just say, I'm going to do this, or this is going to happen today, or I'm not going to be afraid of this. Find what you're afraid of after you've calmed down, after you've escaped to your place, after you have a clear mind, and just say, this is what I'm going to do today, and I'm going to try my hardest to do it. And again, it can be as simple as just saying hi to someone. If you're afraid to talk to someone, literally just go and say, I'm going to say hi to someone today. I am going to go out and be more active within my community. And like, let's say you go to a restaurant and the waiter comes up, and before he goes to say what you want to order, which is a very rhetoric thing, you just say what you want to order. Say, hey, how you doing today, waiter? Or if you know their name, you mention their name. Not only does that help fulfill yourself and fulfill that need for yourself, it shows people that you're trying. It shows people that you are willing to become a clearer mind of yourself and become a person that's not shackled. And it shows that you're willing to break free of the chains that once hold you down emotionally, physically, or physically. It It's showing that you are willing to go out there and battle the stars to their highest content and say, I'm not going to give up until I die. And I mean, that's literally, in my opinion, what it just is that you have to go out there and say, this is what I'm going to do today. This is what I want to do today. And that can be applied to all forms of life, whether it be schoolwork, friendships, relationships, hell, even just as simple as picking up a pencil if you really wanted to. It can be applied to all forms of life, and that's the beauty of that statement, is that because it's so versatile, because because it's control of yourself, because it's saying that I am going to go do this. As the famous theater term is, go break a leg. That means just go do it, and if you have regrets later, have those regrets later, but in the moment now, just do it and live it and love it. So.
Agreed. Very much agreed.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, I guess SL tip of the day.
Yes, SL tip of the day.
Doop doop doop.
Okay, so what do we want to talk about today?
I would say talking about... We didn't think this through like we usually do. For those that don't know, we usually think about this through, so we don't ever have this blank moment.
Yes. Let's see, what did we do today? What is a question that someone might have about Second Life today?
Ooh, I know. How to content create.
Oh yes, content creating. That is a thing.
Yes. So for those of you that are creatively inclined, depending on which viewer you're using, and we're going to be talking about the Firestorm viewer here. So for those of you that don't know, the Firestorm viewer is a separate viewer from the actual Linden Labs viewer. It's very, 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 very useful in terms of mic sounds. Yay, all the mic sounds. Waiting for the mic sounds to end. There we go. All mic sounds are ended. Okay, cool. So the Firestorm viewer is an advanced viewer where you can do a lot more than you could with a standard Second Life viewer. So I recommend, first off, if you're not already using the Firestorm viewer, check it out, try it. If you have any questions, send them in to us on the podcast. We can always answer them for you. The people that are running this podcast and even the people behind the scenes that we can always pull in for help and experts know the Firestorm viewer by the back of our hands. We can literally guide you with anything. But for content creation, as we're going to go today, at the top bar, where we showed you how to go to the search bar, which is under that the content, you're gonna notice another little tab up there called Build, and Build is your friend. If you're a content creator, it is your absolute most wonderful friend. So, if you click on Build, you're going to notice a pop-down menu. That pop-down menu is going to have Build on itself, which lets you res prims, which are things that you can, they're blocks, they're shapes that you can build stuff out of. That's what a prim is. And you and we can go into how to modify them later and how to actually link parts later and all that good stuff. But for now, we're going to talk about uploading. Now, what uploading does is you can upload sounds, pictures, and other sorts of objects like that. You can upload 3D mesh models. If you're a mesh model maker, oh my gosh, you have a bright future ahead of you in SL. But, so you want to do is you want to go to the Upload tab. Under that Upload tab, you'll notice exactly what you're looking for. Now, one thing you might notice is if you have 0 Linden in your account, you cannot upload anything. The reason why is for Second Life, in order to upload something like a 3D mesh model, a texture, or sound, you need lindens. As we talked about beforehand, how to get lindens, go ahead and check out the second episode or the first episode where we talked about it.
Second episode, I think.
Second episode where we talked about it. You can grab that all down in our new fancy website, by the way. But
yes.
Yes, well, we'll mention about that later on the podcast. But what we're going to do, though, is you go down to that Upload tab and you find which section of the one you want to upload. It costs 10 lindens, which is not a lot at all. And now if you have 0L, you have no way to get lindens. It might seem like a bit, but as we mentioned before, there are jobs in SL. You can most likely find some way to fund your finances in some way, shape, or form. And with that, you upload what you want to, and you go ahead and do content creation that way. Again, we can go ahead and talk about how to apply textures, how to do 3D mesh modeling, how to do even prim building later on, but that's how you basically get something into SL.
I think you can pretty much get anything into SL just with the, let me check, it's the image, sound, animation, mesh model, bulk, import link set.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know though, you can upload any image and it'll auto downsize it for SL. Oh, sorry, we're getting Skype messages here. But for sound though, for those of you that can be uploading sound clips, as a person who actually makes what's called bumpers, walkers, and gestures, again, these are things that play sound in world for other people when a certain trick or action has been met. Sounds can only ever be uploaded in 10-second snips. So, if you want to upload a whole song, you're going to have to break that song, in my opinion, break it into 9-second snips, because that way you have an extra second of leeway between your cuts, and that way you're not accidentally cutting off something. And that's just my own personal experience.
Yeah, you do a lot of work when you're doing your bumpers and stuff.
Mostly actually the dancers, really.
Oh, yeah.
The dancers are the most intense because I'm cutting up a whole song, so I have to cut, let's see, depending on how long the song is, a dancer usually costs me anywhere from 200 linden to 400 linden total to build. Again, for those of you that look at linden and say, oh my god, that's expensive, just keep in mind, $2.50 gets you around 550 linden?
Yeah, something like that. But I think the minimum is that you can buy is
a minimum of $2.50 USD.
Yeah?
Yeah, it has to be. It's meant as in $2.50 USD.
Oh, okay. Well, now I know.
Yes.
Because I've been buying it $10 at a time.
Oh gosh, I buy $8 at a time. Around $8.50. That's $2,000 for me.
I like buying $10 at a time though. It's like,
yeah. And why don't you talk about texture, since you actually do a lot of texture uploading?
Oh yes, I do. Texture, when you upload an image of any kind, it's going to be saved as a texture, not as a snapshot. Snapshots in your inventory are only for pictures that you have taken inside Second Life with the Second Life camera, whatever it's the camera. And let's say that you upload a picture that you edited of a picture that you took in Second Life. This picture is going to be saved as a texture, not as a picture. So that means that you're going to have to find it in there, and more than likely it's going to be saved as whatever you named it originally. So after you've uploaded it, you can use that picture on pretty much anything. You can create a simple prim, and you can turn it into a sign. You can make it into I don't know, let me think. You can make it
really anything.
Really anything. You can make it into a
skin.
Yeah, you can make it into a skin if that's what you made. Making skins on its own is a whole different kettle of fish. So we'll talk about that later. But we're just talking about uploading pictures, and any picture that you upload, you can even add it to your profile picture, which can make your profile look very, very pretty, which is nice. Yes. But the things that I usually use textures for are for signs and more signs. I made a whole bunch of arrows earlier just because I could. For my
they had a purpose.
Yeah, let's talk about my shop. In my shop, I have textures that are put on flat square prims, and it's all just the information for my shop, the pictures for my shop, just all of the basic things that one would need for a shop. And these things are are all textures. Textures do a whole lot. You can do so many things with the images that you can upload to Second Life.
Mhm.
Excuse me. Probably the only place that textures are not useful is if you buy something and it doesn't let you modify it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the only thing. Because there's a whole bunch of things that you can buy in Second Life, and it says modify, and you can create your own textures and color them into different colors so that it's unique in yours.
Yeah.
And that's
As
really
well
awesome.
as modifying allows you to do a lot of stuff when it comes
Mhm.
to scripting and things of that nature. Like for example, you can create a board that if you touch the board, it gives you an item. But in order to do that, either you create the object yourself, being a prim of some sort and just texturing the prim, or you buy something that has the modify property on it.
Mhm. Yes. Probably like many avatars now, you can make your own skin for them. Like
The kimono.
like the kimono, which is what I make skins for.
Humans, kind of, depending
Yeah,
on which one
like
you want.
the base SL avatar, you actually can make skins for them. You just have to have the know-how and the the artistic sense to be able to make it pretty much.
Yeah.
Because I have seen a tutorial on how to do that, and it even made me go like, oh.
It's like, oh well then.
I said, oh, that's how you do it? I won't then. That was pretty much what I thought, because it was actually a fairly intensive process. It wasn't difficult. It was actually really easy. It was just painting and creating the texture that you were going to put onto yourself and wear as a skin. But since I had never done that before, it was going to be it was going to be a really big project if I ever wanted to make my own skin. So it's like, no. Because you have to think about where the shadows are gonna go, where the lines of the fingers. You have to get really detailed into it, and it's a lot of work.
Mhm.
Even the kimono, which I make really simple edits for, it's still pretty difficult.
Mhm.
So it's like if you're willing to just beautify your world, textures, man.
Yes. Well, I think that covers that little segment.
Mhm.
Alrighty.
Yay! Do 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 do. That's our
Furry
ending song.
questions.
Furry questions. Let's see. We did how to make a character. We did how to color coordinator or whatever it was.
Color match.
Color matching, and I don't remember what we talked about last week.
I think it was just don't oversimplify your
Oh, yeah.
your OC, or don't overcomplicate it.
Overcomplicate it. So after that,
You can tell we're recording this at 11:02 p.m. People.
oh yes, we gotta stop doing this. But we were very busy today.
Very busy. Yes.
Just doing things and more things. And dog, what are you doing?
Is the dog eating another tortilla?
No, she was attacking my husband's shoe.
Alright.
Let me see. What are the questions? We're going to pull up Facebook, people.
Oh no, the Facebooks.
The Facebooks. So I'm gonna go to.
Did you know that an average person spends like 2 hours on Facebook a day?
Really?
Yeah.
I'm above average then. But then again, I spend my time on Facebook like uploading advertisements every day. It's like,
I actually am on Facebook like really not a lot. If that makes any sense. I know it's not proper grammar, but
rarely. You're rarely on Facebook.
yes, there we go. Again, tired. 11:03 p.m. at this point.
No, I'm almost never disconnected from Facebook, but that's because I get a lot of commissions from Facebook. So it's like I always have to at least be looking at it. Ooh, this is actually a good question.
Ooh.
So this is just a random question. What are some difficult clients you all deal with as artists and craft makers? Were they flat out rude, demand discounts? Did they demand free stuff because of reasons, refuse to pay? Questions.
Interesting.
This is a question for the creator.
Yeah, this falls into a ball of your court, really.
Yeah, it does, actually. I have had many different kinds of clients, and I have had those really annoying people that will just come up and be like, I want a free thing, or I deserve a free thing, or like, they for some reason think that they deserve something free because whatever,
Because
sometimes it's a really stupid reason even. But it's like, you just have to be like calm and be like, you're not as important as you think you are. You're not getting the free thing. And it's like people will get, like, people have gotten angry at me just because I didn't want to give them something for free. But, like, my art takes time, and it's taking time out of what I could possibly be using to get a commission. So just doing something free for you because you said so, like, no.
Yeah. Like, if there's a reason as to, like let's say, like, it was like the creator's, like, good friend's birthday, and the creator went out of their way to make something, then that's the creator themselves going out of that way. Or, like, if the creator just randomly did a drawing one day and then decides to sell the OC at some point, and then, like, maybe at that point, like, let's say it hasn't sold, so then you contact the creator and it's like, hey, maybe could I work this? It's not preferred by the creator because the creator did spend time, and it's kind of almost expected that time in exchange for money, because it's a service, but
I mean, you wouldn't ask for like free, like for someone to build you a house for free. That's a really extreme example.
Yeah.
Or let me see, something that's a little less extreme.
Well, I would say that, like, probably for me as a person who actually gets a lot of things commissioned, and Cherry being actually one of my commissioners, and then I have a few other trusted artists, I've never really known if this bugs my artists, but I always like to feel like it gives them an opportunity to be creative and flexible, because they're going to get paid for their time no matter what. That's a promise I always hold to. But I will give them, again, this is more or less like it's not like a test, but it's a way to show their creativity and a way to show that they're willing to rise to an occasion of complexity. Mm-hmm. And what this is at least for me, I'll hand the creator like a backstory, or for even an example, a D&D character sheet. As we talked beforehand, for those of you that don't know D&D, it's in one of our episodes. You can go ahead and find it in one of those episodes. But you give them a description, just pure words, and that gives them the gears to turn. It gives them the oil to turn the gears. In my opinion, I feel like artists, because again, they're going to get paid either way, right? I'm not one to commission something if I don't have the money to do it. So they're going to get paid either way, but I feel like if I can get their gears turning and they love it, I feel like it's a good way for them to be flexible and creative. I mean, your thoughts, because I did that to you, Cherry. So, I mean, your thoughts on it?
Actually, that was, like, not annoying or anything. It was actually kind of freeing, because it was like, okay, do whatever. I will do whatever the fuck ever I want. It's just gonna put this here, and it's gonna do the thing, and there you go. It's beautiful. And it let me be creative and all the things. But I have had those commissioners that are, like, really specific, where you finish it and they're like, could you, like, move the arm, like, over here? And I'm like, why didn't you say that when I showed you the sketch? It's like...
That's what line sketches are for.
Yeah, I know. It's like, here's the sketch. You want anything changed? And they're like, no, I love it. And you're like, okay. And you draw it, and then after it's finished, they're like, actually, could you change a thing? That's just rude. That's really rude, because I put in all the time, and now you want me to change something that is not easy to change.
Yeah. I mean, and that would make sense. Again, as a person who does commissions, it's like that's the reason why artists hand you a line sketch, because it's easy to redraw a line. It's not easy to redraw a line, recolor, reshade.
Yeah.
Repose.
Yeah, the shading more than anything is probably the most difficult part.
I can imagine.
So it's like, oh. That's the noise I make. Oh.
Just the
Yeah. Because it's frustrating because I showed it to you first and you said it was okay, and now you want me to change it. It's like, just. Usually, if a person does that to me, I won't let them commission me again because it's just like I know the kind of person you are. No, like that kind of thing will spread throughout the artists, and everybody will know that you do that.
Yeah. I would also say that, like, if you contact an artist and say that they aren't open for commissions, like, don't be mad about it. There's a reason why they're not open for commissions. Whether it's just that they're already dealing with a bunch of commissions, whether they're, dealing with real life stuff that's preventing them from doing commissions. An artist would have a reason to not be open for commissions. And don't be mad about it because it's ultimately you're commissioning something from them that's spending their time that, again, that they could be doing something else or something more productive, but that, not to say that drawing isn't productive, it is, because you're making money off of it if you're commissioning from it, but it's just, it's that case of don't be mad to the artist.
Mm-hmm.
The only time where you should ever be mad to the artist is if the artist is ever rude to you. Then I think you have a reason to be mad.
Yeah.
But mostly artists don't want to be rude, and probably aren't rude because they want the commission to be finished and they get to pay their rent.
Yes. Or food, or whatever the money's used for. Usually food.
Yes. Food, rent, damn car insurance.
Car insurance, ugh.
It's horrible for me. I hate it.
But yeah, it's like if you talk to any artist, they're all going to have stories about that one client that just did a thing, that one that's a reason like artist beware pages exist, because there's always that one client that you absolutely have to warn everybody about. It's just the way it is. Either that rude person or that person that didn't pay.
Yes.
So far I haven't had someone that. Oh yeah, I have. Never mind. So I was gonna say I don't have someone that hasn't paid, but no, that's not true. I have.
What do you end up doing with that art piece?
I don't there's this one art piece that I have that I haven't even given the guy the full image because he didn't pay $5.
Interesting.
Like, he paid me $40. It was a $45 art piece, and he paid me $40 and he was gonna pay me the other $5 later, but he had never paid me the $5. And I finished the art and I was sending him messages saying it's done. Do you want to send the $5 and I'll send it over to you? And it's just sitting there it's not even in my art gallery. It's like I wasn't going to let it be out unless he paid everything. And
what if it's like an original OC? Like let's say someone commissions you, like this is not like an art piece. This is like a reference sheet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say if someone never ever pays for it, what do you end up doing with that then? Do you end up just discarding it, or do you try to sell off the OC?
Well, usually you just discard it and you forget about it because selling it just doesn't feel right, so you just leave it and count it as wasted time. Because I have a ref sheet there that's waiting to be paid for, but they always have excuses, so I'm just like, I just put it into my folder of if anybody, and already told a whole bunch of my art friends that if you see this being used, consider it stolen.
Ah.
And then I have another one that's a picture that I did like 2 years ago that never got paid for.
Oh wow.
And that one is also, it was just like a small picture, so it wasn't that bad. And then another one that is also a ref sheet that was a gift for his girlfriend for Christmas. And it was Christmas time and he wasn't able to pay me because of reasons. And it was Christmas, so I felt, charitable and whatever, and I said, okay, you can pay me later, and he still hasn't paid me.
Ah.
So I also put that in the folder of if you see this being used, consider it stolen.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, you never paid for it. Like, I only sent him the small version, not the high-res version. So it's like, because I give 2 versions, a small version with a watermark, and a large version without a watermark.
And I would say if you're ever to post anything online from an artist, always use the watermark. And the reason why I say that is because then not only are you posting, technically when you commission an art piece, well, yes, you do have rights to use it however you want to, the artist still needs to get credited because it's the same way. It's like if you cite something in an essay, or you say something in an essay and you got it from a source but you don't cite the source, then it's considered plagiarism.
Yeah.
It's the exact same way. So it's like, if you're going to upload it to any site, always use the watermarked version. Because that way, then not only are you giving credit to the artist, and people will look at that art piece, see the watermark, be like, oh, that artist drew that. And it's almost like a badge of symbolism for an artist, I would want to say.
Yeah. Yes, very true. Very true things.
I know much about art for not being an artist.
Yeah, you do. Well, it helps if you commission a lot of art, then you know hi, doggy, what do you want?
And you see, here's the cool thing with being a person that commissions art. If you have, like, a couple artists that you really, really trust, and in the sense of that you can give them whatever the heck you want to, and they're completely fine with it, and they go along with it, and, they like you, it's just that dynamic. It's like, it's easy enough to commission people from them because then they already have a mindset of who they're working with, how they're going to interact with that person, and things like that. Good example is I had Cherry do a ref sheet for me for one of my characters. So she did that, and then later on I said, hey, can you do this? Again, paid because it was a commission. But because she knew what she was dealing with in terms of the way I handle commissions and the way I'm very, very open about time. Like, for me, I'm really open about time. I currently have an artist that has yet to give me any progress updates in 3 or 4 months, but because I trust her enough and because she's one of my artists, and because I know what's going on in her real life as well, I'm fine with that. Same thing as I have another artist who, frankly, just got really sick one day and has not really gotten too much better. She's drawn and given me updates here and there, but because, again, I know what she's going through in real life, I don't pressure her to get it done. It's like, the way I look at it is, if you're nice and generous to your person that you're commissioning, the person, the commissioner, the commissioned person, the commissionee, I don't know what everyone is called at that point, the artist, there we go, they'll generally love to work with you again because of the lax nature or because of how you like to operate, and it's just that type of dynamic. It's like, if you create that type of dynamic, then it only leads to better things, upward and onwards.
Yes, very true. Well, yeah, like, basically it's like, if the artist is nice and you're nice to them, then you can create a friendship, and being a friend with your artist is like the best thing ever.
Very much so.
Because then you get to know each other, and if you ask for art, then if you commission art, they know exactly what it is that you're gonna want. It's like, yay.
And or if they're your loved one, that also helps.
True. No.
But then again, if they're your loved one, they'll probably do something for you for free, even if you tell them that you want to pay them. And if you pay them, they're probably going to send the payment back to you. And then it frustrates you because then you can't actually pay them for an art piece that you want to do.
Then you have to buy them something, and
Well, no, I don't mind buying something. I just want to pay them for their time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just how it is.
Alrighty, well, I do think we covered a lot in this episode.
Yes, I think we did.
4 questions, right?
Yep.
Yeah, 4 questions, not too bad.
Not too bad at all.
Jeez. 3 were sent in to us. Love that. Haha.
I love that very much. So, I guess we have come to an end of our podcast.
Episode 4.
Episode 4 of Dear to Dear. I forgot what our sign-off is. Yeah. It's It's been me, Cherry, and it's been...
Sail the Kemono.
And we'll be seeing you guys next time.
And don't forget to go ahead and post comments down below or send us in a question if you have a question. Today's episode was only sponsored by Volk, the cartel boss.
Yosh.
Just, I'm not kidding you. Just that crystal geyser water supply. I don't know how he does it.
Oh my god. He's the best sponsor.
Yes. And he doesn't even know he's one.
I know, right?
Well, I think he does. I think he just forgets.
Yeah.
He's a forgetful cartel boss.
Yes, he is. It's a wonder how he gets things done.
Alrighty.
Alright, so we'll be seeing you all next time. Bye-bye.
Right. See yas.